Man outsmarts himself when man tries to outsmart God. These things shouldn't matter to you. Number one, all nations are judged by how they treat their most vulnerable. And the most vulnerable in society are indeed the unborn. Plus, there is other benefits from people being born. Now, many of you that I'm looking at tonight, and many of you who are watching me who are younger than I am, some of you are 10 years younger, some of you are 15 years younger, so forth and so on. And some of you are my age. I have news for you. If things continue to go the way they're going because we've outsmarted themselves, you can kiss Social Security goodbye. I said, there will be none for him. There will be none for my grandkids. As it is currently constructed, it's going broke. You know why? We messed it up. We tried to outsmart God. Since Roe v. Wade, 60 million plus people are missing. They're missing. Where are they? We aborted them. Well, what does that have to do with Social Security? Everything. When Social Security in 1940, for instance, in 1940, there was 159 people paying into Social Security per every one person who was getting a benefit. 159 people. We got smart and decided we're going to kill people before they were born. Today, you know what the ratios are? 2.3 people. 2.3 or 2.8 or 3.3 persons now are paying in per each individual who's getting a benefit. So it can't last because the problem is we don't have enough people to pay into it. We outsmarted ourselves. We killed them. And every time you abort a child, you wipe out 2 generations. The baby that was aborted and the baby that babies that baby would have brought into this world. And in our being smart, we've outsmarted ourselves. We ran into persons who are part of AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons. And they're trying to give us some pushback on what we're trying to do. Now, you got to be crazy. If you're over AARP, which deal with seniors, old people, who ought to be the main ones who want people to be born so you can get a check. Because if there's no people around to work to pay into the system collapses. We've outsmarted ourselves. China came up with a one-child policy, and they did that because they wanted to stop their population growth. You know, China used to be the world's most populous country, but they're going to lose that distinction very soon. See, they implemented a one-child policy, and then the one-child policy that they implemented was favorable to boys. So now, and this one-child policy, you know, man is stupid when man tried to outsmart God. According to the Pew Research study of the UN database, in fact, China accounted for, look at this, 51% of the world's missing females between 1970 and 1970 and 2020 due to sex selective abortions or neglect, according to the 2020 UN report. So what they began to do is abort more girls than boys through sex selection abortions. So in China today, there's about at least 30 million fewer females. It's beginning to be a population full of males. Well, that ain't good. I had no desire to go to China. I really don't have one now. I'll go there and see a bunch of men for what? The point I'm making is that we're not wiser than God. When man tried to outsmart God, man outsmarts himself. And we are in a predicament. And if a politician dares to say, well, we're going to try to prolong Social Security by cutting the rate of growth. We're not going to cut your check. We're just going to cut the rate of growth. You get a cost of living increase. Well, we're going to make it a little less than what it normally is. Then his opponent will come to you and say, he's going to cut your Social Security check. You don't want your money cut. You're going to vote for the guy who says he's not going to cut it. So there's no will to change the system, because if you try to change it to help it, you're going to get voted out of office. So we're going to keep it as it is, and the whole thing is going to collapse if something doesn't happen. Amen. We've outsmarted ourselves. Amen. God had it worked out. But what does God know? I mean, who is he? He just made everything. What kind of credentials does he have? What college did God go to?